Should a breakfast sandwich be $100, $150, $200, $300? Well, there's only one way to find out. Okay, so today we're making 2 different breakfast sandwiches. Very basic. We all love a breakfast sandwich, okay? I think we all know the regular average price of a breakfast sandwich. You go out, it's like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bucks.
Maybe.
Or you can make it at home for probably less, but cheaper. But really though, a breakfast sandwich is a cost-effective item. And we're doing the exact opposite. We're gonna be taking the most expensive ingredients, some interesting techniques. How do you even make a breakfast sandwich that expensive? Eggs aren't that expensive. But we can add other stuff. We're not just gonna throw caviar on this, we're doing a bunch of other fancy things. So with all that being said, let's make this, shall we?
You know, a breakfast sandwich for this price, kind of like a deli BEC, that's bacon, egg, and cheese, is basic, but there's still technique involved. But then there's a sandwich with chicken fried Iberico pork secreto, Gruyere foam, Iberico jowl bacon, and god dang caviar. Let's start with Mr. Simple, because I know you'll get that one. You'll need 3 to 4 slices of cooked bacon. Cook it however you like, all right? I popped mine into an oven that was cold and set it to 425. Let it go for 15 to 20 minutes or until cooked to your liking. Separately, get some sliced white bread, which I toasted in butter in a pan on both sides until beautifully golden brown. Once that's done, set those to the side. Now, per sandwich, I really like 3 whole eggs, all right? Now get a 10 to 12 inch nonstick skillet, depending on how many eggs you're cooking. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Turn the heat to medium. Separately, crack 3 whole eggs into a bowl, season lightly with salt and pepper. Whisk those together until homogeneous. And once your butter is hot and bubbling, add in your eggs. Just like an omelet, you let the egg cook while constantly dragging the edges to the center as they begin to set, slowly shaping this into a square shape about the same size of your bread. Now, here's your trick to nice eggs. As soon as they're 75% of the way cooked through and just the top is a tad liquidy, cut the heat off and gently cover it with plastic wrap or a lid and let it finish cooking by steaming itself for 30 seconds. Then immediately remove that lid and you got crazy goddamn scrambled egg. Now for the assembly, get your toasted bread, spread on some mayo on both toasts. On the bottom layer, stack your bacon nicely, followed by your œuf, a nice layer of cheddar cheese, melt with a torch or under a broiler if desired, and then crown your king, obviously mayo side down, and that is a breakfast sandwich that may be simple in kind, in stature, but satisfying and powerful in flavor. The expensive one is a bit of a different story. First off, a basic Gruyere foam. Now get the finest Gruyere that you can find. You'll need about 1 pint total of cubed Gruyere. Pop that into a blender along with 3 cloves of garlic. Then in a medium saucepan, add 1 quart or 800 milliliters of heavy whipping cream. Heat that just until steamy hot, but not boiling. Then pour Daddy's real hot cream into your blender, starting with just about 3/4 of said creme. Now let that rip on the blender until it's smooth as possible. It should come out a bit like a Mornay sauce, so if it's too thick, add the rest of your cream. Then once smooth and emulsified, pour that into an ISI whipped cream canister. Hit it with 1 charge, shake it nicely until it creates a beautiful micro foam like this. Next, chicken fried secreto. You need 2.5 pounds or 1.1 kilograms of Iberico pork secreto or pressa. If it's too thick, slice it into steaks about 1/3 of an inch thick and pound it out if needed. Separately, get a medium-sized bowl and add 1.5 cups or 295 milliliters of buttermilk, half a teaspoon or 2 grams of oignon powder, 1 tablespoon or 12 grams of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of espelette, 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of ground cumin, half a teaspoon or less than a gram of ground white pepper, and 2 teaspoons or 6 grams of fine sea salt. Whisk together until thoroughly combined. Then add your pork to your marinade and allow to soak for 5 minutes, and it's breading time. Now first, simply drizzle a little bit of your marinade into the flour mixture. Mix that to incorporate into the flour, and guess what? You get extra flakes. Now take a piece of pork, toss it into your flour, pressing aggressively to get that nice crust. Once fully coated, shake off the excess, place on a sheet tray, and repeat with the rest. Now, to cook, get a 6 to 8 quart heavy bottom pot, filled up about halfway with vegetable oil, heat it to 350 Fahrenheit, and then drop in 1 to 2 of your secretos at a time, frying for 4 to 6 minutes. Now, while that's going, let's get our bacon started. Here we have an Iberico pork jowl bacon. Nice and pricey for that guy too. Pop that onto a baking sheet and into the oven at the same temp as before, and these cook a lot faster, so try to keep it maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Until golden brown, and honestly, I like these guys crisp. They have an insane texture when they're stiff. Now back to frying the pork. Once each piece is done, it should be a golden brown, flaky gem emerging from a pool of shimmering gold. Now pop that on a wire rack, set over a baking sheet, hit it with salt to taste, and repeat with the rest. All we have left is a luxury scrambled egg, which will go the fine dining soft scrambled method. First, whisk together 2 eggs, then in a cold nonstick pan set over medium heat, add 1.5 tablespoons of unsalted butter, allow that to just barely melt. Then pour in your eggs, immediately begin stirring with a plastic heat-proof spatula, and let those cook while constantly stirring and shaking the pan. And what you'll notice is eventually the eggs will just barely start to curdle a little bit. Once that happens, remove the pan from the heat, continue to stir, gather up those cooked bits quickly, place back on the heat, again, continuing to stir. Once you see those curds pick up again, guess what? Remove it from the heat again, stir, 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 back onto the heat, off on, well, you've seen this before, all right? And once the eggs are cooked but are extremely fine curd and velvety fluid like this, they're done. Optionally, add a dollop of creme fraiche to keep Gordon happy, a touch of salt to taste, and some very thinly sliced chives. Fold together, and that's your soft scramble. The bread we'll be using is the finest, most voluminous, crusty sourdough bread. I have a recipe for that in my cookbook, link in the description. You could also go to a local bakery that makes great bread. Now slice that bad boy nice and thicky-wicky, and toast it in butter on both sides until deeply toasted and luxurious. To assemble, grab your big boy toast. On the bottom, give a generous layer of your Gruyere foam, okay? Don't skimp on me here. Followed by your jowl bacon, a stunning jewel of fried secreto, a chonky dollop of your soft scrambled egg, and lastly, for the excess of this entire recipe, a generous ounce or two of your nicest caviar, maybe a little platinum ocetra. Gently top that monstrosity with your bread crown, and look at that. Never have we seen a sandwich so horrendous and also equally lustworthy. It's hard to put it into words why I hate and maybe even love this sandwich, but I'd rather eat it and tell you if it's worth the price.
All right, we got two different breakfast sandwiches right here. Bing, 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 bing. One for breakfast and the other for breakfast. The only difference is that when you finish this, you're probably not gonna leave your house and probably might wanna chill on the spending habits. This price and this price. This is significantly larger, but I could have made it smaller and it would have been still significantly more. Now that is a classy cross-section. If you've ever had a classic bacon, egg, and cheese, wherever, bodega, deli, doesn't matter. There's a certain flavor that you already know is on the way. This is exactly that and more. The cookery of the egg, the toast on the bread, every element that you control will contribute to the quality of the sandwich. So there's nothing wrong with it, it's great. Onward to Mr. Expensive with an egregious amount of caviar. It's a perfect medium cooked pork secreto, chicken fried, Iberico bacon, soft scrambled egg. That's a lot. Oh, I also forgot about the Alpine cheese foam. I'm gonna give it a little bit more. Why not? That's just overload. It's too much. I don't know how I feel about this. All of these flavors work really well. You've got the chive, soft scrambled egg. It's buttery. The crunch from the chicken fried pork secreto. The spices, there's a symphony. That Alpine cheese foam is actually quite light. It's not too much. But, and this is the problem with going too hard on too many things. There's just too many different contrasting textures and flavors and fat and creamy this and creamy that. It's just too much. This is one of those things where I just feel like something simple, like a classic breakfast sandwich, is never gonna do you wrong. Now, if you wanna be a disgusting little piggy, well then you might enjoy this sandwich. Still gonna be good. But honestly, I spent all this money and I kind of want this one. Wah, wah. But that's what this episode is all about. It's not about the money that you spend. It's about the technique, and it's about applying the right textures, the right flavors in the right place for an incredible experience. But you wanna know what else is an incredible experience? B-roll.